Message blocking the shot. That was a message.
And there's Paul.
Well, the Clippers are doing a great job with their set away from Blake Griffin in there, though. Second effort always there.
Here's Chris Paul, no one on him.
Yeah, Chris Paul, very.
4:25 here in the third. Chris Paul. 12 points. Clippers will have the ball to start the fourth, so you've got to have a stop here. So much for that.
Chris Paul
working that clock down. 5 seconds left. Here's Paul pulling it back. Nice step back move. And hits. Gets the roll with 1/10 of the second left.
It really was.
And then saving it for his ball club.
Finally, they get Chris Paul some freedom. Finally, they give us
2 field goals.
But defensively, they have the kind of athletes that can be good.
Paul gets the pick. He'll rise and score.
Tyson Chandler should have known that shot was coming up, having been this.
Chris Paul around DeAndre Jordan, dances for freedom and scores.
Chris's shot has looked better tonight. We talked a little bit.
Griffin and Jordan up front. Paul will fire from straight away for 2.
He's shooting much better. Don, do you notice anything different?
Clock's down to 5. Tough follow-away baseline jumper is good.
Hey, Don.
Stevenson, who last year had one of his worst years in the NBA with Charlotte, as Paul's jump shot is good. And Clippers back up by 1, but Stevenson become a really good road team. They had their best road season in franchise history last year when they won 26 road games. As Paul, as good as it gets from that, he's in the league last couple of years and not turning it over. Paul deflects it. Nice steal from Paul. Goes down the lane, off the glass, and a foul.
And the Clippers are in great shape, particularly after how poorly their bench played.
Chris Paul now with 20 points here in the first half. He's 7 of 9 from the.
Pierce to Griffin at the elbow. Paul over the Griffin screen. Big basket by Chris Paul. Clippers by 4, 80-76. High pick from Griffin. Paul.
The great screen by Griffin. Not only did he disguise it, Ralph, he came late, but he came with authority. And he absolutely annihilated Mike Conley to give Chris Paul all that freedom to get that open.
Raymond Felton is on J.J. Redick, who's such a big first quarter player for the Clippers. Paul on a pull-up jumper. Gets it to go.
Triple and a rebound by Jordan. Jordan comes in the number 2 rebounder in the NBA. This is Chris Paul at the other end. Sorry, after the timeout, Doc had to pull him back, but the Warriors won that game by 4, 112-108. This is Paul over Curry.
And what that early quick foul by Curry, you can't. We're looking forward to it. Our guys, they want this matchup. In my opinion, this is the best team rivalry game in the association today. As Chris Paul continues his hot start in this first quarter, 6 of 6
His way in, but couldn't finish across the lane. Here comes Paul again with the Griffin screen and a 20-footer.
Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me?
Season 4-0, but have lost 4 of 5. Their record 6 up and 4 down. Chris Paul began 7 of 7. Knocks it down! In the first quarter, built their lead to 23. Golden State had an early 3-point lead on a Curry triple. There goes Paul with a fadeaway. His
run. Griffin. Chris Paul, wide open baseline. And we're getting into that situation again where you're in the second half of the third quarter. You just had a double digit.
Probably for pick to click, but I'll tell you right now, he's the guy. He is really playing great basketball.
Chris Paul starting to get engaged in this game. He got a real quiet.
Clippers are down by an astounding 26 points.
Finally, Chris's first basket. DeMarre Carroll made 8 of 10 threes.
Elbow jumper.
That looked a little bit like Clipper basketball right there. DJ King. 18-14. Paul got it.
And the bigs have got to do a better job on the screen. He's got Reddick on him on that one. He just curls that screen.
Paul steps back and knocks it in.
It was a good little hesitation move. It kind of froze Harris. Thought he was going to pass it.
So let's see what you got. Chris Paul wins that battle. See where they earn their keep.
Clippers down by 6 early. Paul rises.
That's easy basketball. That's Clipper basketball. The three-point line.
He's answering the challenge. Oh, he goes down.
I think Chris stepped on his foot and gave him a little nudge.
Just a little offensive rebound and possession. Paul uses it, fires and scores. That's 10 for CP3. Down by 4. Crosses over, steps back.
That's a play with multiple reads. So first is a DJ lob.
Paul to make it happen quickly. Over Neto. Beautiful job.
Tough shot. Really tough.
With a thumb. 4:45 to go in the ball game. Paul splits all the defenders. Well, Paul and Griffin have been split. Griffin. Ball behind his back. Pick it up. Shoot from 15 and score.
That's a very atypical jump shot for Chris. For 3-game runs, but not one of them had a 4-game run.
Paul, right elbow, jump shot, basket. That's money in the bank when he gets there.
Yep.
All eyes, gets the ball to Paul. Paul from the sweet spot.
Quick hitter, Ralph. They get this board and let him come down and make plays, especially when he's guarded by a 39-year-old.
Paul is open.
His shot is coming, folks. Early season fingerprint.
Last 3 games. 1 very good game, and then 2 where he just hardly knew he was around. Paul rises and scores.
I love that action. That's called a high dragging to shoot the ball, I think.
Good help by Griffin. Stevenson, baseline jumper, basket.
I'm telling you what, Chris Paul loves that. Somebody else got the rebound.
Can't get too cozy, have to keep on scoring, guys. Paul, that's it. 93-83, final minute.
Bread and butter.
He got both.
State. They'll take that shot. And I talked to Chris before the ballgame. He said
with tonight he could be on Lillard late in the ballgame. Here comes Paul. He'll rise from 15 again and hit again.
You see a little confidence building in his shot?
4-2 Clippers. Here comes Lillard. They switch up. Reddick is on Lillard now. Clippers rotate defensively. McCollum has it with 10.
Moment, LaMarcus Aldridge decided he was not re-signing with them. They decided to reboot. That's a little bit more like it, Chris.
Paul gets the screen from Griffin. Ricky goes under. And Paul will drain the rainbow. Paul takes it over Rubio and drills it. Little big.
Wow. Chris Paul. See, Jim, redos.
Yep.
They've been very offensive rebounding team.
Chris Paul.
The last thing you want to do is give the Clippers 2 and 3 looks at the rim.
With a 1 and 3 December so far. They lost 2 straight at home. Paul maneuvers to get free and finally knocks one down. He is 2 of 6.
I will say this about Chicago.
And here comes, with Stevenson in, Paul's shot, and that will go.
That's Steven.
When you think about it in the old days. Sure. And they get it up there fast enough where they can make a couple of passes with 5 seconds left on the shot clock as Paul just drifts around. Now gone. Sorry, Jim. Paul on the runner. You have to score coming down the stretch. Make sure. Since trailing by 18 in the quarter on a 24-8 extended run as Paul hits a big one. That is a big answer as he looks over at the Nets bench with the rebound. Jordan screens for Paul. He fires. He fills it. Wow. Out of the gate, it's 7-0 Clippers.
3 clean jump.
13-6 now. Clippers. Just under 7 to play in the first. Chris Paul leaning, gunning, got it.
Case study. Pistons got a basket on the other end.
Chris Paul wide of the lane. Fires, fills it up.
Easy. Too easy. Took advantage of that screen by D.
Clippers lead it. They have it. Baamute to DeAndre Jordan. He's back to Chris Paul. Down went Reggie on a Jordan screen. He's slow to get up. The shot goes down for Paul. He has a left. Shot clock at 8.
Just trying to wall him off.
Under a minute to play. Chris Paul with a crossover. Gun it goes. Nasty jumper over Anthony.
Here's Chris Paul. Williams longer. Ball shoots over him. Says you're longer, but you're not long enough.
Yep. Chris is
part owner now of the Atlanta Hawks, enjoying his new role. CP3 for 2.
You know, people say to me, why didn't the Clippers win all 5 games on the trip? And Doc said
Of the season. Paul gets away. And Paul knocks it down. Paul's take, if you ask him about. Paul, pull up. His second field goal. Paul. Chris Paul now 9 points, 3 assists, and the Clippers back before now. This is his 3rd year with the Clippers. That was an illegal defense at a one-shot technical. Chris Paul knocks down another, his 4th field goal. In double figures for San Antonio. Paul, the hesitation, keeps his dribble alive. Now falling away, knocks it in.
This is highlight reel point guard.
Wants it down low. Paul couldn't get it to him. Pull-up jumper. Paul puts it in. 26 for Chris Paul.
Gordon smothers it and controls it. Paul over Raiders.
14 in the quarter for Chris. Shooting them.
Pull the string. Sometimes when you miss the first couple, start aiming it. You're exactly right.
And he is something.
He's light. Practice court in that facility, Russell Westbrook court. So congratulations to him for doing that.
Yeah, congratulations and thank you. Thank you to Chris Paul too.
Yeah, CP show.
Time.
Here's Chris Paul, has played very well of late, and Paul hits the jumper, averaging 23 points per game over his last 4. He missed it down for him to play anymore. This is it, and he is embracing it. Here's Paul off the bounce, and Chris Paul with 6 points, 3 assists in the opening frame. Shot clock down to 5 for Paul. Good defense in the half court by the Lakers. Paul, though, able to hit over Randall. And Chris and Jordan still almost threw it in. And a fresh 24 had hit the shot clock. Paul hits, and a foul on Clarkson. What a coverage per game. Good for 2nd in the NBA. He led the league in that category each of the last 2 years. Paul swishes it through with a high arcing shot.
What would you say
upon us? Here's Paul. Open, and he hits it. 23 points. Back to a 10-point lead.
The block more than once. They've been in tough situations before. Paul goes to work. He'll stop, jump it, and hit it. 5 quick ones.
That's the first field goal, 3-point land tonight. But the Clippers just running simple screen roll or a floppy action, which is running J.J. Redick off the screen. That time just a high screen.
Just over 2.5 to play in the 3rd. Chris Paul, jumper good.
That's his shot. Yeah, he's coming off to his right.
Chased away by Kelly Oubre Jr. Pierce came off the bench in their win against Utah to start the second half. And Doc Rivers liked what he saw. Griffin out with a torn left quad that he suffered in the Lakers game.
Boy, there's been a lot of confusion.
Paul the other way, and we'll check in with Chris Miller.
All right, Buck, as you see, Chris Paul hits another jumper. Randy Whitman calling a timeout. Pick and roll defense. Chris Paul, third field goal. Sometimes it actually pays to commit fouls against the Clippers. Chris Paul.
Way too much credit to J.J. Redick. He fell away as opposed to attacking. Chris Paul's attacking, and he's going to give him the lead. 82-80 off the rub. His second switch. So Paul Pierce has got Eric Gordon on him, but it's going to be Chris Paul going up with it. And the step back looks pretty good. 3-point game. Minute.
And so Portland turns it over for the first time. Here's Chris Paul the other way, takes the elbow jumper and hits.
Well, that time
foul. Dame pulls back the arms, doesn't get the foul. And without McCollum, of course, a second foul to Lillard would be disastrous.
Get himself going.
Well, he did that in the second half against Memphis, as they are really trying to get a second foul on Lillard here. Paul goes to work from the foul line and rims it in. You know, even in that Memphis,
Chris Paul can post up. This is part of his game.
Paul open, fades back and hits. As both defenders went with DeAndre Jordan.
They'll run Riddick off some picks.
Lillard picked off by Jordan. Chris Paul elbow hits. And Terry Stotts wanted to move.
Rebound taken by Jordan.
Prove me right there.
Paul, the change of pace, frees him from the shot. That's a beautiful job by Chris Paul. Silas, the great former Clipper and Boston Celtics star, spent the summer coming up with out-of-bounds plays.
Yes, and he went through.
Picky. Paul brings the ball into the paint. He's left three.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he can lull a lot of bigs to sleep.
Chris Paul drops on a dime, creates space, hits the jump shot. 2 games as different as he could be, huh?
Yeah, why didn't you say it's the law already?
Here's Paul over Lim. Boy, he's shooting well. Chris Paul. And Evans has to guard CP3. There's a switch. Anderson's on him.
Almost looks like they're in a zone.
Chris will let it fly and knock it down.
Guy, that's exactly what they're doing.
Paul at the elbow, backs off, shoots over the big man, and buries it.
I never
Evans scores.
see how Evans one dribble and move the ball. When it's like 1-2 dribbles or less, and then does something good's going to happen.
All right, Paul got it. Clock is dark. Anderson can't guard him. CP3, the baseline, the jumper of beauty. He's become a better outside shooter. He's added that part to his game. That was non-existent that Rookie of the Year season. Ball over Anderson. He's done it a couple of times.
Another big with his team. If he's not there, a jinx is following that in.
Paul, beautiful move against Holiday.
Well, remember he started 1 of 14 against these.
To Paul. Look back door, wasn't there. Chris rises, fires, and scores.
That was vintage right there. Like there was some.
That's exactly what happens here. 5 seconds, Paul off the screen. Got a good look at it and knocks it down with a rebound.
Well, you might think it's a mistake, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to pay off. Because you're going to need Paul Pierce to make plays for you as Chris Paul continues to.
Paul bearing a couple of big threes here in crunch time in this fourth quarter. And Paul hits it. He is money when it counts.
It has not really clicked on a consistent basis. It was, I'm sure, from the Cleveland point of view, a good thing to see is Chris Paul's able to hit the.
Actually showed him playing more minutes than he had, and he said that Doc Rivers watches those minutes. He's afraid he wouldn't be put into the game in the fourth quarter. So because of J.J. Redick watching the officials.
So important because of the great relationship that Doc Rivers has with Paul Pierce. Nights when Doc feels he just doesn't have it going tonight, Paul knocking down that mid-range jumper.
And two-point attempt, back tap kept alive by the Clippers. Paul using the screen. Shoots over Mozgov. Chris Paul.
And big men working with him every day in practice before the games. He's really good.
Here is Paul. He has had the touch all night long. And the Cavaliers up to an 18-point lead. Here's Paul. Yes.
Lopez with the rebound, and then he had it taken away.
Paul averages 2 steals a game. Nice dupe in there and hooping.
That's his first bucket. He had been 0 for 5. Angeles 5-0.
Paul looks like he wants to take care of that situation. He was hell-bent that time. They're going to take over.
Shot clock at 5 as Paul puts it up, and he's hit 2 in a row.
Nice screen. This is how the Knicks started the game. No continuity.
And it's Paul at the other end. He has 9.
Absolute beast with Vince Carter out of the lineup. That got him in the playoffs. They lost in 5 games at Detroit. 42 and 40 that year. 5 and 10 shooting.
Paul, jumper good.
So look at Raptors have just owned the Clippers the last few years.
They've had success, but it's been here.
Halfway through the shot clock and halfway through the second quarter. Off the screen. He orchestrates.
You don't have anybody else that pick it up off the bench.
2.5 to play in the quarter as Paul got the bounce.
A good transition to get back because he's looking to get off a quick shot, and Monte Ellis got in front of him.
Here's Chris Paul, and he rattles it in.
He is looking to be offensive-minded.
Talked about that prior to the game. Off the floor incident. It has not hurt this Clipper team down the stretch. They have a game-high 9 point. Paul, guarded by Paul George. No screen comes.
Oh, my goodness.
3, Paul Millsap is not going to get there. Redick running with CP3. And Chris drills it.
Paul, he's not getting a lot of clean looks.
CP in and out, back in. Screen by Jordan. Jump shot, Chris Paul. Chris Paul. 2 minutes. Floor spread for him. Now Jordan screens. Chris pulls from 15.
The Lakers are playing listless basketball as they've dropped 8 in a row and 12 out of 13. If ever there's a game, we're going to have a little charge who haven't given that night after night after night. But they have here tonight. And you thought they might. Paul's jump shot is good.
He made like took. Glad to see Anthony Brown getting an opportunity. I've done a lot of Stanford games the last 3-4 years. Got to know him. He's a great kid and glad he's getting a chance.
Potential, just the way he plays them. The numbers not going to warrant that. Hasn't played enough minutes. But there's a lot of different things.
You can see how he did it a couple years ago.
Paul has 22. Timeout again.
Rotating on that first rotation, but the second and third. Now, can they keep it up?
They're #1 in the NBA in field goal percentage defenses. Paul banks.
And we know that, you know, when the first 3 to 4 years in this league, he worked so hard. And now all of a sudden, the last 2 years, he's exploded into a superstar. And only 9.
Shot clock at 5. Paul.
Pretty.
Beautifully done off the glass. He was waiting to showing off the dribble in attack mode, the explosion.
Well, we're just seeing this now during the month of January, okay? And it's the left down and said, I'm going to make a 3.
And then Rose comes right back. Another attack. That's 6 baskets for Rose. We'll return to the Paul Pierce stuff a little bit later as Chris Paul connects. Paul now with.
If you're Chris Paul, get out my way. It's a big guy trying to defend me.
Off the bounce, Paul as good as anybody with those pull-up jumpers. Drains it over.
So the Clippers out to a 10-5 lead in the early going. And Paul knocks down a 15-foot. Had some great tip-in opportunities that haven't fallen. Mario Hezonja now on the floor. And Chris Paul knocks down a jumper. 27 left in the fourth. Paul, a very steady, if not spectacular night so far tonight. But that's Stevenson got rid of it just in the nick of time.
Paul shoots in another.
The starters for both teams have 27 points. The bench has 43. It's just something that happens in
technical. You got Bosch against Paul here with a shot clock at 5. Paul with a pull-up, hits it.
Okay, that's a very intelligent offensive player. They got the switch. He had block of the game. If you notice, he just left his man and came right over and helped out. And that's what he does so well, anchoring the defense.
Chris Paul now, since DeAndre Jordan, who is second to Andre Drummond in the NBA in rebounds per game, averaging just a smidge under 14, and there is Paul.
How to make sure you're aware. Here he is trying to come off the double screen from Nerlens and Jaleel and just kind of loses where he is out on the floor.
Chris Paul, the rebound for the Los Angeles Clippers. Paul open.
Pulls it down. Paul, pull up.
Yeah, right off a double pick and got exact good hands by Isaiah.
Look at the Clippers though, right back. Paul for 2.
They will miss.
3 well of late at all. Paul along the baseline for 2.
Right.
Jordan gives it right up. 5 on the shot clock. Paul for 2. Paul 6 of 8 from the field. 6 of 9 rather. 14. Paul knocks down a long 2.
I'll tell you, and Isaiah was right
back. Got Jerebko on him defensively. Backs him up. Fall away for 2.
Yeah, he's been sensational. He's been really carrying this ball club when Griffin went down.
I know people always say easy schedule, but obviously the schedule is presented in front of you, and there are always surprises that Paul's able to knock it down. But you'd rather play, obviously, the under 500 teams than, say, the 4 top teams in the Western Conference.
Well, to the Clippers' credit, they've won the games they're supposed to win. And now you have the extending the possession for the Clippers.
Paul, watched by Parker, shoots over.
Get up!
Oh, very now in the San Antonio backcourt. Series of moves by Paul and knocks it down.
Paul against Iguodala. Pull-up jumper is good.
12 points. Like the Warriors have taken the will away from the Clippers.
Largest lead of the night. Paul off 1 foot.
And thrown away.
And Paul gets it back. He was going to foul to prevent the break and said, maybe I can get a steal instead.
And a jump. Wesley Johnson finds Paul again. He's on to Teletovic. This usually means the ball is going up. And in.
He's perfected that move. He's had to perfect that move. But you know what I mean? Like if you're a shooter and they don't allow you to land, it ends up being a foul.
Paul. That looked. Paul into the front court, guarded by the biggin. Freezes him, fires over him, scores.
Until tonight, he's 0 for 4.
Paul, a 3 at the baseline.
Benny Mack, and the nice, as Doug said, the nice catch and little spin finish.
Here's Chris Paul. He got a screen by DeAndre Jordan. That freed him up, and he hits the pop.
Well, he asked right there was, oh, my goodness.
I have to shame myself.
Oh, my gosh. It's going to be one of those nights, Doug.
I see it.
And there's Chris Paul, and the Clippers go up by 4. Allison has 7, along with 2 assists. Chris Paul, 9 points, 1 assist. Looks like the ball has a string on his hand, doesn't it?
Oh.
It's amazing.
Haven't seen DeMarcus in a while, and Kings are playing good.
because it's getting a nice rest, so he should. Not at all. I mean, that play is great, as Jerry said at the county fair. I'm sure he won first prize for biggest pig, that's for sure.
And there's Chris Paul. The only problem with the Clippers is they're in.
I told you about the dialogue, the conversation that we were having about the best player in the world and who was in the discussion. And they ignored Kevin Durant. I'm like, hold on, what are we doing? Duh.
Paul finds that seam. That's one of his spots he loves to shoot from.
It's been a tough night for Redick.
Shooting-wise, fine, but as Paul knocks down the jumper.
I think Paul is just going to get better and better now as we're getting close to, money time. Chris Paul knows about money.
Hasn't hit a three-pointer in the game, but he's got three the old-fashioned way. Jump shot, Chris Paul. Talking just a Keystone Pop sequence. Paul fading.
Wow, that's a tough shot.
And to do that with the soft touch that he
to contain him.
And remember, 3 fouls really slowed him down in the first half, but there's no slowing him down in the
winning. That's a good word right there. Your actions speak so loudly that I can barely hear what you say.
Kevin Durant just hurt himself. He got
Paul works against Calderon. He's already getting free, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
He's against Lopez. Paul with 10 on the timer.
He definitely does have that look in his eye. The last time we saw that look in his eye.
Good intimidation by Jordan, and then a great move on the defensive baseline area.
Paul pull up, knocks down the jumper.
Well, I've been waiting.
We'll have you out of the game. Spurs are without Matt Bonner and Simmons tonight. They're the inactive players. Paul knocks this one down.
Right, you see now he's forced to just keep his hands up. Battle right there. And Jeff Green has the size advantage. I'm wondering how Kawhi got that shot off so easily.
Chris Paul cans the two. He thought he before exploding on OKC and taking care of business in the fourth. Here is Paul over Parker. Count it.
They're not patient. They're not moving the ball nearly as well, and they're trying to do it themselves.
Jordan trying to get open underneath. Chris Paul may not need him the way he's playing as he does this all.
The first half. Ball spinning on Harden.
There's the push. There's the push that creates the space. Now that's by the point guards in for the Clippers, and then also their passing. Their passing has been terrific.
Shot clock down to 3. Paul against Harden again, and Paul wins that matchup. 30 minutes tonight. That's 21 points and 14 rebounds. Shot clock at 5. Paul weaving through traffic, shoots over Howard, and gets the bounce.
Item and Christie Brinkley literally flew into South Bend. Just for that concert. I do. Chris Paul has to one up everybody.
Look for a possible timeout if this doesn't go well.
Yeah, Chris Paul trying to cross over. JaMychal, just don't bite on any pump fakes. That Chris Paul, and there's a timeout. Chris Paul on the post up against McCallum. Screen by Jordan. Shot by Chris Paul is true.
Not often do you post up a guy who's 6 foot in the NBA.
These two teams turn it over a lot. They're third and fourth in fewest turnovers per game. Clippers third, Pels fourth. And filling it up once again.
4 straight points by the Warriors to get within 1 of Los Angeles. Here's Paul over Green, and Chris Paul with his
an interception.
Thread the needle, baby.
Yes.
Here's Paul with the pull-up, and maybe that'll get Chris Paul going. He was 1 up inside 4 minutes to go in the third. Clippers still in it despite Chris Paul's off night. Just 2 of 11 for Paul. He'll keep it going, though, with the attempts, and he buries it.
Collins kind of got locked into scoring on Pierce, and nothing good came of that.
Chris Paul rises for the jumper. That's more like J.J. Redick to return. 33-28. Paul in the circle. And in the hole.
And it was nice to see Blake out here before the ball game going through maybe his best pregame workout we've seen.
He's done everything except any contact work. Paul.
They have had a 4-game trip, a 6-game trip. They've had a bunch of back-to-backs. I think they're worn out.
Paul over Aminu. Comes ahead to Johnson. Paul rises and scores.
A step as he brought it up the floor. Trying to create a little bit of speed and pace.
In the circle.
That matchup.
Portland, 2.5 minutes remaining. Chris Paul.
Well, that's Lillard
not done yet.
And as you said, a world of talent, and he is their point guard of the future.
He wants to shoot it against this guy, and he does, and he scores.
And Denver's got some upside. What the Clippers just faced.
Their defense has clicked in these last 4, and they've been playing very, very well.
Yep.
Paul gets the Clippers in a scoreboard.
And remember, we highlighted
three. That one will not fall. Bradley again testing his luck, and here comes CP3. Stop on the dime for 2.
See, when Chris plays against a
Sacramento and Phoenix, and I guess he has found a home in Boston.
Boy, Chris's call is dead on. Like his jumper is dead on line
around the country in other NBA venues. Look at that double screen between Jordan and Bob Mute to shield Ricky away from Chris Paul, and he'll take advantage with the jumper.
Chris Paul just has the ball pretty much at all times for the Clippers, doesn't he? I mean, if it's not
that since Christmas. Blake, handoff back to CP3. Got the switch he wanted, fires and scores.
I just remember the first team trying to create his own there. That's not his forte.
Chris has a screen from DeAndre Jordan. I think he's Boston. Expect him back soon. Chris Paul slides to freedom and scores easily. So you don't have to say the junior. 52-39 Clippers.
Look at that.
He could not believe how open he was.
I mean, Chris Paul's like, do you not?
Gets the switch.
Watch Gortat's hands.
Steps back.
Great separation. They were able to storm the castle, go to David Stern. This is exactly what we don't want, these powerhouse teams.
Paul will fire. Paul will score. The Clippers off. Jordan looking for and finding JJ with the pick. The baseline jumper at the layup for Chris Paul.
How about Chris? He's yet to miss a shot.
Well, Blake sees a couple of free throws go through and then makes a defensive play.
Now that was full speed.
Paul got him out.
That was like
jumped out 20-2. Looked like a laugher. Beautiful move to freedom.
You know, there were some articles written about the what-if situation had Chris Paul played with Kobe Bryant.
I don't know.
Huh. Jeez.
Here's Paul.
Are they just not going to guard him?
Apparently not.
Chris is thinking that.
That's what he'll do.
Amute, and it is 2-1 Lakers.
Again, Amute is a very good defender. He's going to make Kobe work for absolutely everything.
Chris Paul, everything came. Well, we're 3 minutes in, and the Lakers are down by 1 as Chris Paul spins away and scores yet again. Boy, he
smiling as if he's married in Miss Puerto Rico. Chris Paul let it fly, not
that was vintage Chris.
A little composure here for a young team, and I like where they're at. Paul posting up Lillard. Paul, yes. Slow start.
Yeah, absolutely. Griffin's let him get. Griffin was supposed to trap him on that, and he let him get loose, and he made it again. A little post up by Chris Paul. And
bad shot.
Yeah, new clock going. No use to take that shot. But yeah, they've had a little bit of a. As Paul goes back to his favorite spot over there and knocks it down a little mid-range again.
Yeah, they had the coach shot selection by the Blazers after they had tied the game, even led by a point. Here's Paul again.
Yeah, got to be a timeout right here. Terry Stotts, Portland Trailblazers team. He's their leader.
Shot clock to 4. Paul, yes.
9 points in game 1. During the regular season, he failed to score double figures only once. Chris Paul extends the...
But Aminu, at some point now, Marv, put the ball on the floor and attack the hoop. You know, if you're Aminu. You've missed a few jump shots now as Paul pulls up his patented little... Right at the front of the rim, yeah. Right at the front of the rim. Good shot, just didn't go in.
Paul, yes.
Portland just can't find any rhythm on the offensive end at all. And they, you know, they need to get back in this game.
Oh, a beautiful step back. Clipper lead.
Another nice pass by Plumlee there on the backdoor play by Lillard.
Chris Paul has found the touch.
Chris Paul has been aggressive early in this series, Doris, and talk about spectacular decision-making as he knocks down that shot. Chris Paul kicks it out to Blake for the mid-range J. Ball with the rebound, knocks it down over Plumlee. Oh, yeah. You know where we're going with that. He anticipates certain questions being asked by the media. Very savvy in that sense as well. As is Chris Paul. Is, quote, the most competitive person I've ever seen or coached, end quote. And the most competitive person knocks down his first jump shot.
I love it. Listen, I think...
Here he is working against McCollum. Behind the Griffin screen, Butter. Up at the scorer's table, ready to check back in. Ball off the grip. Boy, he put the brakes on. Man, Harkless needs new brakes. 4.5 minutes to go. Chris Paul. Off the Jordan screen. And that's what Chris Paul does, folks.
Paul tries to use the pick and does. And gets the friendly rim.
Boy, he's good about themselves at the start of this game.
Paul to the fade. Somehow he was able.
Good those first two. He just keep on letting it go. Again, I've said all series long. I think Aminu, as Paul goes for his patented pull-up, and he's got great rhythm on his jump shot tonight.